Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to talk about Pillage and probably concentrate quite a bit on the 140. The 138, the new garrison target. And let me go ahead and introduce everybody. Lady Cat,
Hello.
TSM. Okay, you're on mute. All right. Well, Magic Mike
Hello, everybody.
and Derpy, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
And feeling pretty?
Yep, always.
All righty. Well, let's get going.
I thought I'd come in last and say hi.
Okay. we'll move you down to the bottom then.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. All right. You contacted me earlier today about this TSM. Fix an issue where if a base is being attacked and the defender joins the battle starts immediately. Battle will now wait until both players are loaded in and click ready. Has anybody seen the implementation of this? Is there a timer? Can you just sit there and never click the ready button? Has anybody seen what's actually going on there?
I mean, that's my concern, the exploitation possibilities, particularly, in PvP events. It depends on, does it automatically then just go, well, you're sat here, you're waiting forever, it's going to start anyway. But the wording says it's not going to start until you press the button. That's an exploit, or it's a potential exploit if they don't let it auto start after a set amount of time. I'm sure we'll find out when people start hitting each other, but there's a potential there to use it as a blocking tactic as well, or also give some people some time out, because you could hit them and then not actually start using their base. That'll prevent them from coming out of their base and then doing some counter activity. So it's a bit of a mess, really, I think. It depends on how it works.
It gives other people time to get there too and try to catch them leaving.
Yeah, there's several instances that could make things good for the attacker, but also good for the defender. It just depends,
Right.
You could not click on join, go out, finish, and then get the next trigger. Just say you're like 500 points below banking in the next bit of bounty sort of stuff. You can just go, well, I'm going to make you hang in there, and then
which would be nice.
and I don't know, and it may be a complete oversight, but if you make someone sit there for 4 minutes while you've decided not to click the button,
Right.
You can go and get another kickside target, or if you don't die, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But has anybody seen it in action yet? Because it would have happened with either in the group or in chat, because it went in with the update last night, so it should be live in the game. And this would not be the first time that we've seen poorly worded bug fixes. So if anybody has any input that's actually seen it, because we're sort of just speculating based on something that historically has never been necessarily written that well. So if anybody has any comments, let us know, and let's move on.
Real quick, if I could just add my preference for how I would like this to work, I'd like it to just be extend the timer, give it a minute. If both players don't join with the minute, you start the battle anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That has some problems with it. It's not a perfect solution, but it's better than the battle starting before I can get in there.
Yeah, there should be a timer involved, and I think that was just probably didn't fit into their one-sentence explanation of the fix. All right. Right now we are in Pillage Week. Next week we are going to be having...
Oops. Sorry.
What? Oops. Okay. All right. Yeah. We're going to be having Powder Keg of the raid. This is the last in the cycle. We'll be getting our assault ships. Yeah, our assault ships, the Photon, next week. Then the FM and the XP to rank them up. And we have the infamous PETA contest, which is going to start the week of the 20th. So everybody dress up their dogs and whatever. and we'll go from there. And then Bounty 37 and yada yada yada. So, any thoughts on this part of the calendar?
Nope, I already have my photo ready for the contest.
Alrighty, okay. Josh, yeah, we're going to get to that in probably the next 2 or 3 minutes. All right, let's move on and take a look at the PvE calendar. Basically the same stuff we've seen before. Again, we have Pillage this week. So, is anybody? I have full chest and full coins and not really a lot to spend on them. But I think we might have a solution for some people with the TLC, which should be next, I think.
You want me to go to the next one?
Yeah. All right, the Creeping Barrage TLC. This is in addition to the 138 that Josh was asking about, and the FM that's going on this week. There is this is to be done with your garrison halls, most likely Everest. So you win a 1, 2, 3, up to 8 trencher build tokens, 5 trencher upgrade tokens, and you win a copy of the trencher, and you also get 1 of each of the invader plates. So it's as long as it's not overly difficult, this seems to be a pretty good mechanism to get people caught up on the trencher. If you had multiple trenchers, I don't know, what's the full build on a trencher? Does anybody know? Is it longer than 8 days?
No, I don't think so. Well, full build, I don't know.
Okay.
Full build, full armor is probably around 8 days.
Okay. So unless you, 'cause a lot of people have, if you don't have the newest, the Harrower, probably don't have a lot of ways to spend your FM tokens. So you could probably store these up as opposed to letting them just go to waste.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe until we need a different sort of armor on there.
Yeah. But yeah, as long as it's like what was the TLC last week where you had to use the garrison?
The high ground.
Yeah, the high ground. If it's the same TLC, it shouldn't be that difficult for people that have the Everest build. Okay. Cora's confused and lost their mind, so I'm not really sure what it's related to, but okay. Has anybody tried this yet to see if it is potentially that same target? I know it's only been out there for an hour, and probably most people are concentrating on Pillage at this point.
Yeah,
I'll have a look around the sea and see if anybody's actually doing it in Spiral.
I have not.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's go to the next one if there's no questions on that. The next one is the Sword of Legion for anybody that's not caught up on their Gladius upgrades. You can get 5 of them. And if you're not caught up on your builds, you can get 8 build tokens. So it should be pretty easy for people that don't need any of this stuff.
I wish it had mains kits in it.
The mains kits are in Pillage.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to mix the two events
I'm
together
sure.
this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short those.
I mean, this is a good event. I mean, don't get me wrong. This should get everybody based off Ren's three raid events prior of using the system, obviously tokens and then FM tokens and then upgrades. Most people should be able to get to U3, I think, on at least the normal ships, and obviously the pillage tokens as well. They should be able to get U2, possibly if not a bit better on the flagship. So because it came out a bit later. So should get them in a reasonable position if they haven't gone anywhere with it yet. But
And my Gladiuses are all going to be at least U2, and I think 2 will be U3. But
yeah, it should put people in a better place. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the most exciting TLC, but I think the tokens are quite decent in this one.
Yeah, this is helpful.
I wanted to do the mains, but I don't have the kits, so this will be the opportunity, I guess.
Yeah, in Pillage.
But-
yeah,
but-
Pillage.
Well, I guess I haven't looked, so I guess we'll get there when we get there.
Okay. All right. But for people trying to catch up on the Gladius before the raid next week, this is a good one for you guys to do. And if no further, but I think if you have it, I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna see if I can just auto it with at least the first prize pack with my X1 mains Gladius. Between that cannon, I think it should just be able to auto it for because that cannon is so powerful.
Yeah, I was on X1 last time, and I altered the whole thing, I must admit.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking for like base repair or even like on the water repair, like after hitting each one, because that with just the flag, as long as it's X1, because that cannon it tears things up,
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about splash damage.
it eats through walls and everything if it needs it. So depends on what event you're doing. You want to go get base parts. It's great fun for doing that.
Alrighty. Please confirm that mains kits are in Pillage. Okay, we'll get there.
Let me just tick on that. Hang on 2 seconds.
Well, we should be in the next slide or two.
And I'll
just
just
check
tell
the
you, if you're starting the X1 upgrade right now, you're not going to have time to finish it before the raid starts for the
That's
flagship.
the problem.
Definitely not. It's 10 days, isn't it? Or something?
Yeah.
So it'd be like party like 1999.
Yeah. And if you're in a party like it's 1999 or 9.99 or whatever, these tokens will help reduce whatever that time limited offer cost is going to be by getting some of these other ships upgraded using your tokens.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to see what the raid really looks like, and then decide whether I want to spend the money or not.
Okay.
You might not be given that option because an offer usually comes.
Oh, if the offer, yeah, that's true. Good point.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on and talk about Pillage. All right. We have a new target, the Garrison 138. The rest of them remain the same. For the S target set, you get 20,000, and you get 5,000 for the B target set. So.
So
all
should
right.
we start complaining now about the new target or wait?
No, wait. I think maybe we'll have Mike hit it. I don't know what order to do it. Mike hit it, and if TSM, if you want to hit it as well, because you have more experience with it. But you can start complaining during Mike's hit, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll hold on till then.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
Which one are we talking about? The Gladius target?
The Garrison. You're gonna do the Garrison target and Pillage.
Okay.
The 138.
Return for the 138. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Okay. We talked about it earlier, so okay.
Wait, yeah, but I thought we were talking about FM. That's fine. No problem.
So
Okay.
just checking live in game while we're having a quick look at that. So the Mans Gladius upgrade token kits are there, times 10, 13 of those at 5K each. But
Mhm.
there's no actual upgrade tokens, so there's no kits.
There you can get you there.
Yeah, the kits are there.
Kits are there and that's it, but no upgrade tokens. So you still got to do it slow time.
And the problem with that is if
You'll run out of time.
you'll run out of time, right? And if you're going to coin it, it's probably cheaper to buy the damn package
Yeah.
if
But if
they
you
come
don't-
out with it.
But if you don't do any of that, then you're stuffed no matter what.
Correct.
Because by the time you actually wait till after the event, we move on to the new assault event. So,
Right. I got a feeling going to need an X1 fleet for this raid.
oh, I think so too. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, because the cannon that comes with it is extremely powerful, and then and the aura that's provided by the flag. The flag is the most important, I think, of the group to get upgraded. But any more word you heard about the MK Punisher's restrictions? I don't think there's any restrictions. I think that's going to be made more friendly, unless you saw something that I haven't. I don't think they're going to be restricted. I think it's just going to become less friendly of a target for the Punishers in the upcoming target. So unless Lego, let me know if you've seen something where there are restrictions.
No, I mean, all they said was basically don't bank on being able to use your Punishers. They said that a couple of weeks ago, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, didn't they? So about the week after, in fact, the last raid, they said, don't bank on not upgrading your Gladiuses because the Punisher won't do so well. But there was never any statement that you couldn't use the Punishers unless they tier lock it to, the Gladius.
So tier 9? Because the Punishers are tier 9. That's the reason they can't tier lock it, is because they're both tier 9. I've never seen them.
They can hull lock it, though, couldn't they, I suppose? But that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I don't. Have they ever hull locked a target?
No. The other thing they could do, and even if they didn't, they're bound to. In fact, if they're going to scale the target so that you've actually got the limited cannon on, for anybody that's got their Gladiuses that hasn't put that cannon on, they're going to have a horrible time. Yeah, just
to make them unreact, but the turret's unreactive, and because the cannon that's on the X1 version of the Gladius doesn't include a shockwave. So if those were made unreactive, a big portion of the damage that is done by the Punishers through the launcher shockwave would be eliminated. And I thought that was the most elegant way to fix it. But after talking to some people at Kicks, it seems like they're just going to position the mountains differently and not make any major changes. But this is that's a conversation I had about 3 weeks ago, and so I don't know if they've changed their mind on that. But it seemed like making the turrets unreactive, so therefore there would not be a shockwave, would not impact the Gladius at all. It would only impact the Punisher's shockwave.
Interesting, sneaky.
But I don't think they're doing that. So, all right. Well, this is the time, I think. Mike, if you can start getting ready. Let's.
I'm sitting next to a target.
Okay, let's click one more time, Lady Cat.
Is this where we say break a leg?
Well, at this point we're gonna look at the target. It's we got a lot of mortars right at the beginning, and then we have 3 thunderclaps and 3 brimstones. Similar to, I haven't really hit the 180. Is that the same ratio?
Backwards, like from one of those. Never mind. Go ahead.
I have not been one that's been hitting the 180. I've been relying on the 160.
Yes.
How many thunderclaps are in that one?
I have not hit the 180.
It's TSM or Derpy. Have you guys hit the 180? I know you have.
Yeah, the FM 180.
Yeah,
this is not a target that I've seen before.
Yeah,
Okay,
so this target is pretty cheeky. This has got the most in it altogether. So the thunderclaps, I think it's got 3 in here, isn't it? Was it 4?
Yeah, it's 3 of each. There's 3 of each.
Yeah, 3 of each, isn't it? Yeah. So this is more than 180. This is definitely higher.
The one
Yeah.
So can we whine now, or are we still waiting?
It's not just that; it's the overlap method as well. It's a nastily put together target, I have to say.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay.
There is a path. I've managed to get a reasonable path, and it's not actually the obvious. I went one way to start with, and actually you were just getting clapped by absolutely everything. But I've gone and taken a little bit more damage in some areas, but actually the path is a better area, and I've got the damage I think down to 1 hour and 20 roughly.
Okay.
I think that's too much for Pillage.
So, Mike, okay, you were on there, and now I went to you. No, you're not. Okay.
Really? Okay. Still not?
Okay, now you're back. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave it since you've hit this target a couple times.
I have not hit this target.
No,
at all.
let me finish your sentence. Finish the sentence. TSM, I'm going to ask you to walk him through it because
I can comment about it, but I think you should
Yeah,
pick
your
his own
comments
route.
will be fine. I'm going to go in it. And
okay, you're on full screen and we're ready to go. Okay.
And let's see. I'll just. Is there a safe place to be? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't think
So
there's any safe place to be once you get the starting line.
I mean, right now, yeah, just to look it over. Holy crap!
Yeah, you can sit.
Can you get it over the?
Yeah, you can get that one.
Yeah, let's start there.
Just watch out for the vultures on the right side. I'd block those before I block the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, go right over to the left-hand side first. Keep going left first. So yeah.
Oh, you son of a gun! Yes. Okay.
Nice.
And you have the flag, right, Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
You can just sit behind the mountains now and take these three out. Stop. Whoa. Too far.
Too far?
Yeah, they're still far. They're following you. You could have sat behind the mountain and then just blocked the whole lot.
I thought it was. Okay.
Right, so go back.
Alright.
No, don't go ahead. Don't. Go back.
Back this
Go
way?
back. Yeah, go back where you started.
Come down in here?
So just go back to where you started and then go in that way. And you can sneak along the edge.
Oh, okay. Come around here.
No, just go basically the opposite side of that water block you're sitting on now. So go around the mountain. You're going to go up to the top right-hand corner now. Or I would anyway if I was you. 'Cause you don't want
Is that
to go
up to
right in.
get this guy?
So go right up now into the top right-hand corner. Yeah, you're going to go and take that thunderclap at the top. That's what you're going to head for. But see how close you can get in there. Only one of those HT turrets is going to affect you, and that's that one thunderclap. So get your flagship. I take it you've got. So pause there a second. Let's pause there. Okay, don't. Yeah, and then obviously take the flagship slightly ahead if you could, and just head for the thunderclap, and actually click right past it. Don't stop. Try and click in the space in behind, and you can actually sneak past that little gap, and you won't get anything else won't fire on you. Click right in the bottom corner. Click right in there. That's it. Click right in there, and then you can take out all those mortars, and nothing else is firing on you.
Okay, now I need to get this guy, right?
You've done it already, or you should have already done it. Yeah, you've done it on the way through. You see.
He's already.
Yeah, it's dead. It's all done. So that thing there, then spread them out as you go into this next one, because obviously this is one of those ones that gives the missiles that causes an awful lot.
Is
of
this
pain.
the right arrow click, right arrow click, right arrow click thing?
Absolutely, yeah. But don't go too close, because otherwise that thing will start firing rockets at you. So just sort of like drive up and down to the left and right, but taking it out at the same time. It's not a nice target, so you just got to try and get it dead, but also split your ships at the same time, so that brimstone rocket doesn't annihilate. Just don't go too close. Okay.
Yeah, I wagered charging right into that's not the greatest idea to go for.
Screw that up.
Anyway, so just stay.
Get this one then?
Yeah, and take out that brimstone there.
Oh, yeah.
You close enough there?
I got him. Are you watching on the tube or?
Yeah, you got in. Yeah. I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
I
that's
think-
why you're.
I think
I'm not up to.
That's the problem.
one-on-one with you.
The tube's like 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, I'm getting the instruction.
he's
right
good.
after-
He's good. So no, don't go that way. Don't go. Go back. Go back. I'm watching actually on our thing now. Go back.
Okay,
Go
that
back down. No, go down. Go right back down to where you came from, though. Go back down to where you came from.
Other way.
Back to where you came.
Over
Down
here.
there. Yeah.
Right
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then
Am
you're
I
going to
going through
drive.
this mess?
You're gonna drive towards that brimstone in the center, and it looks like a real terrible thing to do. But if you go the other way, you get smashed by everything.
This guy here.
Yeah, take that one out, and it'll kill. And don't stop. It'll kill everything else en route. So just take it now.
Target it. Okay.
Yeah, click on that.
There we go.
I mean, you can if you want to put the flagship out front slightly, but yeah, if you wait for that, go north, go up around as opposed to down around. Up around.
Up.
And then just head for that brimstone. And you'll take everything else en route. If you go the other way, both sets of those mortars and those and that ship and everything fires on you. The whole thing. Stop there.
Yeah.
And then go up and then take out that
House tower or whatever.
No. The turret first. There we go. Then the ship, yeah.
Oh, that's
We're all backseat driving.
yeah, but this is freaking ugly. I mean, that's
this is nothing. My first one was a lot worse than this, I can promise you. So try and stay as far away from those sort of clusters like that, because if you just hurt the first one, the splash will get the rest. Hopefully.
gotcha. Okay.
And this is the same. You've got to try and stagger the flagship coming in first, because he's probably the strongest one. Just take the flagship in first, so it's virtually through that cloud.
I'm not going to be.
We should go up top because you didn't take out that. There we
Oh
go.
yeah, he's missing one. Yeah, well you can always get that afterwards.
Okay, so I'm going to head for.
Just bring the flagship down first, and then bring the other 4 down afterwards.
Far enough.
And you just got to go for those.
Keep moving. They're firing at you.
Straight to the HC turret now. Just go straight to it. You have to ignore everything else. It's going to clap the crap out of you, but it's just the way it is. So try and stop behind the mountains, so nothing else is going to get you from the bottom end.
What the hell? Come on. Must have clicked somewhere else. How come it's not taking it out?
Because it's tough.
Do you have all your ships
Did I click
selected?
something else? I don't
You
know.
don't have all. You didn't have all your ships selected.
That's it. And then take out that brimstone. The thunderclap. And the rest of it's just grab the ship, and then the other stuff's easy. So just pause there. Pause.
Yeah, because if you get too close, the missiles will start to.
Yeah, they're horrible. Those things. You get too close, and those little rockets come out. There's 2 more turrets
I
left.
thought I targeted it. Okay.
Yeah, you can't quite reach those 2, unfortunately.
Just press the S button now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what's that?
Good job, Mike.
That's going to be ugly. This is
Oh.
Pillage?
And that's my. I mean, it's supposed to be a catch-up event, by the way.
That's stupid. I can do the other one too if you want. It was
What did you get?
2 hours? Hour
Mhm.
52.
Yeah.
Click
Yeah.
the blitz button. Blitz it.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, there's a shame.
Okay. TSM, do you want to hit it with so we'll be a little bit more?
I can just I mean it's the same route. I can do that if you
Yeah,
want to.
Yes, it'd probably be a little less confusing to.
It'll be approximately the same, but
Yeah.
give us a-
More streamlined.
Oh, wait, I can.
No,
I'm
I'm not
still
so
sharing,
sure.
aren't I?
Add TSM. Later, Mike, if you want, we can maybe hit the 141.
Oh, yeah, okay. We ought to auto it because I did it driving, and I took 46 minutes damage.
I autoed a couple before this started, and I took less damage than that. So
Well, that's what I mean. I drove it and took 46 minutes. It'd be interesting, and I'm all repaired. And
Well,
I'm
we'll do
interesting
both
to-
targets at the same time. I'll drive the Garrison one, and we'll just auto the other ones. So
Well, I got a clean fleet, so we can do whatever you want.
well, he's got a clean fleet, I think, on his.
yeah, so I'll just let that one auto that one for a minute.
Anyway,
Let's
either
find
way.
a 138. Where's the 138? There's one right in front of me. Can't see one.
I see 141.
Oh, up here. There's one up here.
Okay, there we go. Everybody snapped him up. That's why you can't find him.
Obviously,
Yeah.
this fleet now for this week, there's the FM. Obviously, there's the TLC, and there's obviously this event. So there's a lot of work to do with these ships, isn't there? So
Yeah. And hopefully they do some sort of fix on the 138, because once we get to the prices of the raid store or pillage store, it's going to really start to add up.
They need to quarter that darn thing.
It's a good 400k is what you need if you want to get all the stuff for the assaults. And if you don't get them in this event, you'll never get everything come the end and ready in time for raid. It's just not going to happen. So
Yeah, I think the priority would be the weapon, because they always keep it to like 40. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
I'm almost ready to decide just to not get any of the limited weapons ever and say it's not worth it to take 2 hours damage on our target.
There you go.
And still not get one. See, that's the problem that I have, because you can complete a set and still not have enough for a single. We're leaping ahead, but it costs more than one set in order to get one of the weapons.
I don't know what you were thinking.
See, the biggest problem is we have 3 things to do with this fleet.
single fleet, yeah, exactly. And then that means time as well, doesn't it?
Exactly.
You want to get your FM done because that's important for many people. I mean, I'm up to speed with FM tokens. I don't need this week's tokens, but that's just because obviously, I
Can't use
sped
them.
some stuff up. But for those that do need them, there's a heck of a lot of seat time involved to get the TLC done, the FM done, this event, some decent points in this event, because this is going to be painful. I'm looking at the state of this fleet. I think I've hit about, we'll see how many points it is in a minute. I think I've hit about, this is the 6th target, I think it is. It's not going to be easy to do.
Yeah, and you're going to be exhausted by the end of this week, and then you got to raid next week.
Pillage, like I say, Pillage was the catch-up event. It was great. It was.
I
Yeah.
used to always look forward to Pillage because I enjoyed doing it.
It's definitely creeped towards, this is another event.
Right. And that's happened with the new team. Cafe and I talked about it before the show, that it always used to be the catch-up event.
They've lost the concept of what it should be. Yeah.
Right. Now it's how we get new tech early.
Yes.
So it is another event.
But you only have as far as the weapon goes, if you miss any, you're not going to have all the weapons, even though Derpy's like, screw having all the weapons. But yeah.
And I can see many saying that exact issue, yeah. And I don't blame them either.
Well, especially with the damage for this target, it just doesn't make sense.
And I thought I would go for the engines first, but Cafe will talk to us about that after. I guess on what the priority should be. Because I don't know what the priority is. I'm not going to be able to do it all. I got really excited when I saw there were shards in here too. Get closer to getting that Overlord, but I don't think I'm going to get what I need, let alone what I want.
Yeah, it's harsh, isn't it? It really is. Didn't actually check the timing on this when I went in there, so I don't know what the timing is going to be like for this.
You had 7 hours, 59 minutes.
Oh, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Okay.
So 8 hours, basically, yeah. Close enough, I think. You can't help but stack on some of this stuff now. There's so much stuff in this target.
Target.
So initially I went up there and went through this way, but as soon as you get to about here, these fire on you, that fires on you, this fires on you, and that fires on you. It's just an absolute nightmare.
This is fun.
What about going in there with 6 pinches?
Yeah, for one target.
Yeah.
Yeah, grand. So this is the reason I put those stronger armors now on this flagship, because now I use it to tank with.
Yeah, I mean,
I know that's a good idea, but I mean, I put a single one on the other ship, but I've actually tanked this flagship up because it was dying so fast before.
Yeah, it's a good topic because that was something I was going to bring up later, was the fact that, and you brought it up, but you had a little a video. You had a video that was sort of trying to explain some of the mechanics. I think in the 180,
yeah,
and the fact that Flag has the least amount of armor, and then the relative to the other 4 ships, and then
this targets it, and it kills your flag even faster. You lose all the bonuses from the flag. So I thought I need to make it the strongest ship.
yeah. But what I was thinking, at least if you were hitting like the targets with just the brimstones, if they didn't have the thunderclap, is the fact that you could say use your second ship and add the M armors and drag that off to the side and have that become an aiming point for the brimstone, because the new armors have an additional 50,000 armor. So it aims at
it would keep getting tanked. Yeah, exactly. It would keep getting hit by the brimstones and then push it right out of the way.
Yeah.
Which would be a good tactical method. Yeah. But obviously they're a bit heavier as well, aren't they? So it's another little game you got to play with a balance, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it, Derpy? 8 hours, you said, wasn't it, roughly?
Yeah.
Yep, I thought you were going to coin it, so I was looking at the 16 coins.
Me?
Blitz.
No chance. So balance quite easy there.
No, it sure isn't, Leonard.
This is definitely no auto target. I'd hate to think. Right. Anyway, so yeah, about an hour and a half, then, isn't it, roughly?
Yeah.
So half hour better than I did, but you.
So I've been getting roughly somewhere between, and so your route was fine because I mean, once you've practiced a few times, just try and split your ships a bit more. That's all. So when those brimstones are hitting, they're not actually doing the splash damage to all the ships. I mean, I'm not perfect at it either.
So, but still, you're talking a pillage target. An hour and a half.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No good.
It should be 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Because we need. What is it? 500,000 points, I think it is, or thereabouts. If you want to get everything,
I'm not gonna make it.
And that's without the tokens, by the way.
You get 3 days to do it, right? Is it 3 days?
It's 25 sets, right?
And you're gonna kill off this fleet definitely, which means you've then got to worry about getting your FM done and then getting that TLC done.
What do they think? Okay.
And some of us have jobs we have to go to. We have to live.
That's depressing.
What do we reckon on this? On the 141? What do we reckon? Gut feeling?
I did 46 minutes screwing up. So
39 minutes.
On auto?
No, I was
35.
Derpy, is that the one we autoed last month?
I think so.
32. So I think it's between me and Derpy. 32 or 35. That's my guess. 41. Wow. Okay.
42.
Oh, okay. You autoed. Oh, I did it driving for 46. So why am I driving?
Because this target was better on auto in the raid.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, yeah.
My recall was one of those targets we could do better on auto than driving, and I guess this is the one it was.
I think it was, or for me, it was like as good or within 5 minutes. I drove it for less than that.
So why drive it? I'm going to try one on auto. I'll let you guys know what I
This
get.
is just auto. So, at the end of the day, I'm sure you can probably drive it better, or you might be able to drive it better. I'm not really sure, but
I can't.
I mean, these are all
I wasn't able to
I
before.
don't think.
You can, but if you got to spend so much time on the other one.
But if it's just minutes, why?
Exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah. Just
So
go
the
leave
flagship
it.
is built
I'm
slightly
just going to
differently,
do it. I'm doing one right now, so we'll see what it comes up as.
Kelvin, is you doing it for 23 minutes driving or auto?
That's good time.
I'm assuming he's driving.
Yeah.
That's good time. I never drove it that good.
I'm not even sure what the target looks like. I've already ever ordered it. I've never actually gone into one.
I did during the raid.
That's
No,
the
I
one
never
with
did.
The carriers in it and the little.
These people. Yeah, Neil and Kelvin are getting it. Appears to be instant repair in the base for both of them driving.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would drive that if I could do it.
Yeah, it can be done, but it's slower. And, it's just a lot slower. And you got to put so much time into the other target.
How are you going to get 500,000 points doing it that way in 3 days?
do this all day.
and
every
sleep and
day.
work.
Yeah. Well, if you did that target continuously, you would have to hit 100 targets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
that's a lot. That is
Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot. That's
That
a
is
big
a lot.
ask. Oh, now I remember this target. Yeah, use the drones. Yeah, I now remember this
There's
target.
8 minutes on that one. Push the drones forward and that sort of stuff. Yeah, a lot of people were doing that, weren't they? So I'm getting 8 minutes. So it's 3 minutes wait on these ones. So for an auto target, that's not bad, is it?
No.
If they all just auto it till it's dead and then go to bed.
So I wonder if you added a crew, you could get back an auto instant fix. If you just
I
added
thought we were autoing
heads.
it last time for near base repair. Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Near.
But don't forget, this isn't half repair, is it?
No,
normal.
but it was the raid. Okay. What was the pillage target though last time? I thought
That's
we had one. Okay.
It's the same
Yeah.
one.
All right.
The-
So I'm not
the issue
wrong.
was-
I'm just okay.
The issue was the garrison target was much easier.
Oh, that's for sure.
Not anymore.
Right. So we stacked up a whole bunch of the garrison targets and then went and drove these or something, or the opposite, or the other way around.
Yeah, it was the other round, I
remember
think.
stacking a bunch of them and then driving the other to catch up. Okay, I just got done autoing that one. Let's see what it is.
I mean, yeah, there might end up being a better route, but that was I've done 6 targets now. I found that was the least. It's that center island that catches you out because you can't go south of it because look, then you're getting hit by at least 1, 2, 3, obviously of the HT turrets, and if you go the other way around in that top right hand corner, then continue going up, then obviously the ship's going to cause you damage, and then so is the 37 minutes. That's better. Yeah.
So I autoed 37 minutes, 38 seconds. Didn't even go into the target. So
Yeah. So you're 9 minutes faster.
9 minutes faster than driving it. Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the
That doesn't
raid,
make
when I was hitting that target, I could not get it better than driving. I just didn't know why.
I don't know.
Well, I remember messaging you, mate, saying, "That's it. I've done a video now. Now I'm going to just auto everything because I can't bother to drive anything."
All right. Let's take a look at some.
So
of
what's
the-
your
Go ahead.
what's your thoughts? Will they wise up to this, or is this going to be? I know that's kind of
I think this is it now. I don't think they're going to change it.
that's an unanswerable question. Yeah.
No,
Pillage
because
is just it's just raid take 2, isn't it? Now it's just it's like the pre-raid almost.
It's just I see more people getting frustrated and angry and mad, and more people walking away from the game or
not
giving up. And the problem is if you can't get all the tech to keep up, and you start falling behind.
Then
Do you
what's
know-
the point, right?
Honestly, right? They've got it wrong way around. In here, they should have put the Gladius finish off points, and in the TLC should have been the stuff for the new assault.
Yeah.
Done it that way
would've
around.
worked- That would have worked better.
Because that puts Pillage where it belongs, the catch-up event. If you're behind and it's just a week before the raid, so the Gladius stuff should have been in the Pillage.
That makes sense. But like Hefe, Hefe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Say what you said to me. The Pillage hasn't been.
Well,
Well, no, don't say that.
Wait a minute. We're on the air
We're on
here.
the air. Don't say that.
We're on the air here.
she asked me to repeat. No, but the FM was also the catch-up event. Pillage was the catch-up event. They've all become the same. I mean, the raid, Pillage, the FM, even Bounty, they all have a catch-up mechanism associated with it. So that's why they think it's okay to do this. But they've all for the last year have been dropping new tech every time. Every single event or whatever you want to call them, activity, they all drop new tech besides the TLCs.
I mean, let's go back to the crux of the whole situation, right? Okay, so the sharks need the minnows, and without the minnows, there's no sharks.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and if the minnows can't keep up at some level, And that's why Pillage was fantastic, because it was the Sharks have already got all their toys and they've coined everything they wanted, and it brought the minnows back in line by the second raid of the cycle to say, oh, I'm there now, and actually now when the new targets come out in the prep for the next event, I might be 4 weeks, 5 weeks behind, but I'm back again. I'm back where I am. Keeps them happy because they're coin free or practically coin free, but they're in a position that now we're in a position where nobody gets to finish a fleet unless you coin it outright. And then we've got 4 events, as you've said, and every single one of these events, including the FM, is all about new tech. And there's no catch-up event anymore.
I think you're right, TSM.
You're exactly right.
I think you're right.
Except for the big part of the problem why some of these things are not a catch-up event is the price structure and the refusal to adjust the price structure. I haven't even looked. Is the Golden Eagle in here for 4.5 million again?
I didn't see it, but I'll look. Would that be funny? Well, it's kind of be sad, I think, more than funny. But
go ahead, Derpy.
Here's the thing with this event. If I miss this event, I get 0 prizes.
Yes.
What's the result of that?
You don't get stuff you need for the next cycle.
You just have to go down an engine
I don't have the engine, so I miss out on 3,200 survival. That's like a 2% difference.
Except for the whole thing is the Sacred Heart is in the FM, but it's also another limited, right? So you would have to work on your fleet in order to recycle that, right?
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's possible. You can get the other engine through the FM, or just use a sync drive, some old thing, something else like that. And then I also miss out on the weapons, and I now I have 20% lower damage across my fleet if I get all the regular weapons. I can still participate and play the game, but missing this particular pillage doesn't set you back that far. It's not as bad as missing the first pillage to get the flagship, or the first raid to get the hull, or an FM missing out on like 8 days of tokens. This particular pillage isn't that bad if you miss it.
It'll make your life going forward harder, though. It will.
Yeah, so I won't be able to. Maybe I can't get the other 10 limited weapons next time because I can't do as many targets without dying.
Right. And it's
I mean, the old days, it used to be a case of like, if you were like 3% below on survivability and you were like 2 combat speed down, then you were 20% down overall, because it was a multiplicative thing, and actually, as in target survival in the end, because you couldn't get there fast enough and you didn't survive long enough, and you were ending up, if someone was doing 10 targets, you were doing 8, and that's probably where you're still at, isn't it? To be honest. If you go for the standard weapon and not the limited weapon, you go for a previous, incarnation of an assault engine, and maybe not such good specials, then the classic, here's the fleet we want to sell you, but it hasn't got quite all the perfect kit on it, and the idea is that you are supposed to then coin the additional kit to get it perfect,
I agree with Rico.
And I agree with you completely. But the issue is that a lot of times you fall behind if you drive correctly and and think about it. And you fall behind. Okay, I can easily either instant base repair or a minute or 2 on these, versus now I'm like, I'll just run it till it's dead. And people have different ways they play the game. I'm one of those ones I like to, I like to, at least the first 50 times or 40 times I see a target, I'll prefer to drive it and try and get the best time possible in order to achieve that time. After that, I'm fine with autoing it because I'm over it after a certain period of time. But these limited stuff allows you to do that. Because falling 20 or 30% behind is supposed to like I have 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the ship. Now I have 8 minutes times 5 ships, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Now you're waiting a half hour.
I think in a nutshell, the simple answer is they're going to have to make adjustments, or is they're going to really it won't. You won't continue to keep as many of the player base as what they believe they might do if they continue with this, indefinitely. It's not the way to go ahead, And like you said, it's probably since they've taken over the game and taken a new direction. There's a new team in that's in the the finance department or the delivery department of the game. It's not the designers. It's not them. They design what they're asked to design, but it's definitely.
But I don't
the
think
mechanics of the game is different than what it is,
But I do not think the 138 target fits in with their past actions. This feels like a mistake or an overstep as far as the expectations, as far as what the players have available as far as technology, because you have everything at the highest end. You even have the dragon skin, so therefore there is a difference between what the expectation is and what we're.
But I am in that 2% bracket, and I know I'm in that 2% bracket, and I choose to keep myself in there because, like I said many times before, this is my entertainment. I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker, and I live out in the sticks anyway, so I don't really go out very much. So, this is entertainment. If it's entertaining me, I don't mind putting a bit of money into it, sort of stuff, and I break it down. Like I said, I buy that coin pack once every 3 months. I've got 700 left and that sort of stuff for this cycle, and then that works out about equivalent to $1 or $2 a day, I think it is, if it's in American terms. But for me, it's just over £1, and actually, to me, that's freaking cheap entertainment. So long as I'm feeling entertained. If I'm not, and there's been a couple of things where I'm not doing that because I can't be bothered, and it's not really entertaining. It's boring. So, we've all got our vices and that sort of stuff, no matter what they are. But this is supposed to be entertainment. It's a game. It's not supposed to be your life, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
For those of us that aren't in that 2%, it becomes a life. It used to be a lifestyle, but now
it's no longer entertainment, is it? That isn't entertaining.
Exactly. And that's where I get really frustrated sometimes.
And this is a really, 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 really old game mechanic where it was a case of, free to play, never free to win. You buy time, if anything at all,
Right.
and but now games have moved on massively, and you buy color now in games.
Right.
You just buy color. Everything is free to play. There are other games out there, some really good games that have got some massive, massive followings, and all you do is buy color in the game. Everyone's got the same weapons, everyone's got the same power, everyone's got the same everything else. But this game has never been about that, because it was in a genre and an era that actually it was all about, let's entice them in and let's make them buy time. And there was a whole series of games like this. And this is just one game that's lasted a long time, only because the player base likes talking to each other. They certainly don't like the way the game is delivered, but I don't think the game can change. If you went to put a coloured skin in this, people go, "All right, that's £10 for that coloured skin." They'd be like, "Get stuffed! I'm not buying that." So we're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
We're absolutely stuck between a rock and a hard place. How would they change the game? We can't say it's going to be free, because ultimately the game will just die in a week, because they all need paying, and they need income. It can't go the way the other latest PvP sort of shoot 'em ups are, because nobody wants to buy a visual color. They had skins before for sale, and very few people, just the top 2% again, bought the specific skin that was the Stars and Spangled sort of thing, or it was a Canadian flag, or it was X, Y, and Z. No one bothered, to be honest. So it's they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I don't envy them at all, but they are definitely damaging the people that they need. And like I said, without being disrespectful, sharks need minnows, and without minnows, it all goes to rat shit. And they're hitting that player base, the minnows. That's what
they're killing the minnows.
They are.
As a biologist, I should explain the sharks that we're scared of. They get way more calories from whales than they do from minnows. Just so you know, as far as the way the analogy works, I understand what your analogy is, but great white sharks, they get a ton of calories from just tearing up, messed up whales and just, dead whales and whatnot. They get, that sort of throws the analogy off, correct?
It does in the physical sense, yes.
Yeah.
How long does a dead whale last?
Oh, those things float, and they got stomachs made of iron. So yeah,
They last for a long time. Man.
But think about all that energy you're losing as you go up the trophic levels. It's much more efficient to eat minnows, isn't it?
if you can catch them.
I always said I'd rather have 100 people giving me $1 a day than one person giving me $100.
But I think we've gone right past that stage. If Kickside turn around and go, do you know what? Come December, we're HTML5, Flash has gone. We're going to change the game. It's going to be $1 a day. Would you? Be honest.
No.
Would you?
No.
No. No, the player base would be down to like you would lose. But if you look at some other games, kids are quite happy to go and throw $10 a day to get a color, you know, and they do. But just to get something that's visual, that doesn't make them play any better. They don't get better sights. They don't get better accuracy. They don't get better armor. They don't get anything. They just get a color.
They look cool.
Because they look cool. Because
Just
that's
like the dragon skin looked cool.
Well, there was nothing else to do last week.
This may not be on the same level, but you know, I'm almost happy to spend the $20, buy the upgrades, than to spend all the time doing it and keep playing the game at the same level as I have been. And
So
I generally would do that every month.
So interestingly, then, so that's akin to what I do, where I do that coin deal, a massive one, but you get the biggest benefit back from it, you know. And I use those coins then, so when the deals come up, not for cash but for coinage, and I use that again as another saving, so it's a double save, you know, which makes those things even more effective way of getting them. But I'm only buying time. Am I buying enjoyment? Well, it does give me time to do other things.
Right.
And the enjoyment for me is actually making video. I like making videos, Derpy's the same. I actually like doing that because I like the technicality of putting the things together, making it all sync, putting annoying music on, which I always find funny because a lot of people love it and some people hate it, you know. But I like making the videos because it's good fun, you know, and I like that side of the game because that's just me.
And it's really helpful.
I turn the audio off when I watch yours, but I do listen to Derpy's.
Yeah, don't blame you. Yeah, but some people, you know, can't understand English, so I've stopped doing, you know, voiceovers and that sort of stuff simply because I know a couple of people went.
That's true.
That's why I started doing arrows on the screen, sort of stuff like, you know, go here, and don't let that, you know, ticks and crosses, because that's like that's sort of international, and only because I'm used to playing for a European player base, they turn around and go, I can't understand a word you're saying, mate. You know. So that's my, and I know, however, the player base for this game is predominantly American, so you know, it's about 40% European, I think, it's something like that.
I'm not a minnow. I'm kind of like a trout. I'm going to eat the minnow, but I'm going to get eaten by the shark. I'm willing to coin once in a while. I have a budget that I have to maintain. If I get above that, I can't do it. So that makes me frustrated that I don't have the time or the money to play this game and be in the. Let's see. I'm in usually around in the 2000s when I look at where I stand on the leaderboards. Mm-hmm. I run around 2000 for almost every event. So I don't know what bracket that puts me in.
I don't even care about that. I never look at that.
Well.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm just making.
I'm not the best of the best. I'm not the worst of the worst. But I need to at least feel like I'm achieving something. I need to.
Yeah, you have to have a measure. Yeah, you need a measure of some description. Whether that's the leaderboard, whether that's the time it's taking you to get to. You know, we used to say in the old days. Remember the old 1 coin per million sort of stuff. You know, those days are long gone. Or we used to say, do you know what? Actually, it's 5 targets per X. You know, is it 5 targets to get a weapon? Is it another 5 targets to get the next weapon? You know, whatever it is, you know,
you need a system of measurement.
A system of measurement, whatever it is. Ultimately, though, we can whinge all we like. We're all still sat here, and we're all putting up with it. So why?
Well, off and on. I've left it for a little while too.
And I don't know anybody that sat on the game literally and sat there and put on the Kickstarter forum. Do you know what? This week's been amazing. You know, unless it was completely free, it was really. Not easy, don't want it too easy because that'd be pointless, but still going back to one of the best events that ever happened was the gunboat event that we had, you know, which was hysterically funny, completely free, and everybody had a blast, you know.
And that's the last time that something like that happened. Yeah, you're right. When have people come up and said, "Hey, man, that was fun. I hope they do that again." Wouldn't that be nice to see that for a change?
I mean, personally, I do have fun with targets that I can continue to improve in and get myself down to a certain level of damage. I know not the people that prefer to auto. Yeah, you may not get the same sort of joy out of it, but this 138 target, it starts off at a bad point. I'm never going to hit this target in such a repetitive nature that I get all that much better at it to get it down to minimal repair in the water or something like that, the way it's currently constructed. But I did enjoy targets like that. That's like, okay, well, I shaved another 30 seconds off of it. But I'm not starting off at an hour and a half. I'm starting off at like 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I work my way down. But I starting off with all this huge amount of unavoidable damage is problematic as far as moving forward and hitting the targets enough to get good at, which as far as the people here that have hit this target the most, I think TSM, or I don't know Derpy's experience with it, if you were going to use a small long pinch, where would you use this?
Well, there's about 6 spots here that seem fairly equally likely to use it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The center was we talked about as being the worst of the worst, though, right? So wouldn't the center make sense?
And trying to get a one or two heavy turrets in it that are taking a long time to kill, I'd almost lean towards the halo at the very top of the target, because you have to go through that Hellstar to get there.
So,
but it's not going to save that much damage.
I could offer to sing to you all. I mean, but if you sing a song, I have an issue is, would that still get a copyright infringement, no matter how egregious that song may be, or the interpretation of that song may be?
If it's a Hefe singing it, is probably not good enough, but I think TSM has the vocals to support it, so you'd probably get a strike if you did it. TSM might have to tone it down a little bit and try to do it worse.
Okay.
Or
you don't get a copyright strike unless it's an exact match, and even if it is an exact match, it's your cover, so it's your intellectual property, so you're allowed to put it out there.
Do you get a copyright strike for singing "I Know a Song That'll Get on Your Nerves"?
You can find out.
All right, let's we can keep this conversation till later. Let's finish the slides. So a lot of people we're talking about. So one more, Lady Cat. All right, the photon engine. There's been discussion on what FTL means. I think Derpy's interpretation is faster than light.
Well, yeah, that's that's the least exciting possibility.
Yeah, I'm thinking for the ladies.
Uh-huh.
But I think the one that's correct, if you read the text that came with it, talking about it being water cooled and whatnot, and I can't imagine that the other engines weren't water cooled, but fluid transfer line. Is probably, I think, the right one. The other one is fluorescent tube light. So
I was thinking the first two words would be a little bit different. the middle one being the, and the first one being something quite rude.
Yeah. So F the Legion, that could be something that the Draconians might go about. But
yeah, that seems pretty likely.
I like F the language.
Yeah, I still like.
How about F the lag?
Yeah,
that's the winner.
Yeah. I still like for the ladies, but it seems a little overpowered. But we'll see how it works out.
It's not pink and it's not ruby red glitter.
You said overpowered?
Yeah, I think she missed that part. All right.
This engine, if you go from, it's going to be a less than 5% improvement in damage taken.
But you know, it all adds up. The engine, the limited guns, it all adds up, and it's going to make my repair time just a little bit less.
About 5% less.
Well, I'll take 5%. Hefe says he'll get 30 seconds less, and it makes him happy.
Let's be absolutely honest, okay? What driving would actually make the difference?
That'll help.
You know, because good driving and bad driving, this engine or no engine, it's still going to cause you. You know, it's either the previous season's engine or this engine. If you don't drive right, it's not going to make no difference whatsoever. It'll help, but it's not going to change the price of fish. You know, there's a good statement. Where did I get that from? if you suck, you suck, basically. So yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but if you almost suck but not quite suck, and you're closer to not sucking, you want to get as close to not sucking as you can.
Yeah. So like I said, you can dress it up like what you like, but at the end of the day, it's still a wet cod.
Yeah.
So it's the only difference, despite all the water cooling and whatnot, is a change in corrosive survival, which appears to be minimal at this point, and it completely is going to go away, almost completely, by the time you reach X1 with this, because the corrosive survival numbers are going to be through the roof. And I'm right in the fact that the sacred artifact is available in the FM.
I recall that being available. If they follow their behavior from last cycle, this engine will the fuck the lag engine will also be available in the Forsaken mission next month, right?
Next month after the raid.
No, the one starting in 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so after the raid, sure, yeah.
Okay.
So if you just get 4 now and you can't afford the 5th one, it would be good regardless, but
this is why the gun should come first. If you're going for
I like the engine first. We like the engine first.
We haven't got to that slide, but yeah.
Well,
engine first is never mind. Because if you're gonna start the build, you need to start building your ships day 1 of the raid if you want to have your fleet ready in time for no coins. So getting the engine earlier rather than later, so you might have 5 shells ready for VXP with an engine and a gun and a special on. There's an argument to get in the engine.
I agree with that. That would be one argument. The other argument would be, on the other side, would be, what happens if we're tanking again, and maybe you only want the for the ladies for the flag, and you were fine with the sacred artifact with the rest of them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Would be the first time.
Yeah, and because we've had that one. What was it? Scorcher turbine that we put on the back. We used a defensive engine and then an offensive engine.
That's right.
So, until we see the target, we don't really know what's going to happen with the.
Which will be VXP, which is too late. Well, then.
Yeah, it's too late. That's part of the issue. Okay, well, let's move on to the. This is the one that I think is, at least this is my priority, is the Blacklight missile. I'm sure Derpy is going to be the first one to comment on this. What is going on behind the missile?
Well, it looks like something was caught in the blacklight to me.
Yeah. What is that? It's quite the pattern. There's other things that you could use with the blacklight, but they've gone for a very, like a splatter design.
That's kind of strange, though.
they've been using that for a while.
They use that in. Never mind.
But it's much more. They had on a few other holes where it's kind of dripping down from the sides.
Okay. All right.
This wouldn't be my first choice.
Hotel rooms comes to mind.
I think it was on the Everest.
If you blow up the image and maybe look at blow up the brightness and contrast a little bit, there's some sort of other pattern behind it, and Like not the splatter stuff, the texture on the background of the whole square.
Are you talking about the Orion Nebula?
No.
Oh, it looks like a grid pattern and blueprints. And
Yeah, there's blueprint stuff. I don't know. It looks like something to me.
I was going to say
art
that
department,
says,
they
yeah,
just layered
it looks
bunch
like a
of
blade
stuff.
missile just recolored, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and flipped basically, because I've just looked at the blade missile in game, and literally, there's not much difference.
I haven't seen the blade missile in a while, but the missiles are longer, aren't they?
Here, look. I'll
Okay.
share my screen quickly.
Okay.
It's a bit small, but it's there.
Because I have complained that they fired the art department a while ago. Yeah. I think the missiles are a little bit longer. Or at least they're much more prominent. Yeah, but generally
they changed the color a little bit and added a splatter design. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
There's not a great deal in it, is it, between the two? Even, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Because we've complained about what?
No.
Because we complained about, at least I've complained a lot about the misuse of reusing turrets and whatnot and confusing players.
Confusing people, yeah.
Yeah, and they've gotten better about it, but they were awful about a year ago, where they were like, okay, we're going to take the Cerber, we're going to take a depth charge turret, and we're going to make it countermeasures, and then we're going to take a radioactive
and another depth charge turret doing corrosive damage.
Yeah, it's. But when's the last time we've seen like drastic changes in the art? It all appears to be somebody doing like some sort of color by numbers thing, and just changing just minor colorations associated with it, because I assume they all started off as 3D models, that we're just seeing a different a different angle on this one. But I don't know. But as far as what's going on here, we see a reduction in projectile speed. Okay. And again, we're comparing this to the Phoenix missile, which was 8.5, the bladed pinion limited. And then we see a jump in damage, a reduction in flak evasion. And I don't recall that we needed flak evasion. It just felt like something that they threw in there to throw us off. Do we need flak evasion for our?
Well, all the blade missiles have always had flak evasion. That was the original blade. That was the reason people liked it so much, because it could cut through all those freaking flak guns that people used to put in their bases. But
yeah,
but attack weapon,
Yeah. No, I completely understand. But at that point, it had a use. But do the bladed pinion missiles?
Well, I think
this was on
one more turn of the crank, I think it will disappear, because the blade missile had 80% flak evasion, and then you had 50%, and now you've got 20%. So next time it'd be 0 and be gone.
Yeah, it'd be -10.
Oh, -10. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Okay. Or negative 100,000 and 100, right, or something like that. I forget exactly what that was, but.
That was the new sub hitting walls and bases. Yeah.
I think it was -1 billion.
1 billion and 100.
I think it was literally 1 billion 100. Like it had that many zeros.
Yeah, but
it had 9 zeros on it.
But the 100 at the end was fascinating.
Well, that's just in case you have a billion damage weapon, you still do you still does 100 less than that.
Yeah.
Planning ahead.
Yeah,
of course.
Future proof.
I add 100 on. I subtract 100 from everything I do. All my numbers.
Okay.
I owe this percent of my paycheck to this. Okay, well, minus 100. I owe 0 now. It works perfectly.
Well, I really hope you don't become a teacher, because your students are not going to be happy with like, oh, okay, well,
the highest graded
is a 0.
The highest graded is going to be a 0. Yep.
Yeah.
You start with a number of points, and every test you take, you lose some.
And I'm not sure how the parents are going to deal with that if you ever become a teacher, but I got a -3 on the test. Well, that's not good, right? So, I don't know, I guess your system of subtracting 100 each time could work in certain situations, but I do not think it would work in all situations. So, and we have not seen the unlimited version of this. And, we expect somewhere between we expect all the stats.
60k, 60k damage, I reckon, something like that.
I bet you it's 59k 20.
Yeah.
59k 2025.
Yeah, it'd be around the 60k mark, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so a 10 or 15% reduction in damage, and probably none of the other stats are going to change. So,
though, if we do need flak evasion, you're going for the standard one. It might be better to use the other missiles and take them off the other ships.
Yeah, but back in the day, we would have we had a difference in projectile speed, a difference in damage, and maybe one causes a stun. So you could 3 on a ship and 4 of the other, and that made the most sense. Back in the day, things like that would occur. And but it's also binary. Use this one versus that one. At this point in time, it's lost a lot of the allure as far as discussing the weapons. Because right now it's weapons specials, whatnot. Because when this show started, we would spend hours talking about, okay, we would use this one combined with this one in order to make. There was a reason behind it, but now it's sort of like, okay, you just got to use this one. It's just that simple, and it's lost a lot by that process. So, all right, let's take a look at the store. All right, the For the Ladies engine is 30,000. So that is you get 20,000 per set, which we are estimating somewhere around 2 hours in repair time, right?
Yeah, hour and a half to 2 hours.
Well, I'm both parts of the set.
Yeah, more like 2 hours.
2 hours, I think, is reasonable.
Is it reasonable? Yeah.
Okay, so we have 150,000, and then we have 22.5. Again, you cannot get a Black Light missile, even though in order to get all 40 prior to the upcoming raid, you need to kill all 10. So, how many hours of damage are we looking at here just to get this done? And the fact that I'm not caught up.
Well, if it's 2 hours to get you the 20, then obviously it's going to be 6 hours to get you the 60, isn't it? So, and it's 60, isn't it? Well, they're 30 each one, aren't they? So you can do the math that way.
Yeah. And then times 5.
And then times that by, exactly that. So it's slightly frustrating. It's 10 hours just to get the engines. And you haven't got 10 hours worth. There's not 10 hours. Oh, yeah, you probably could just get the 10 hours in one fleet and fix it overnight. You probably could just do that, actually. Because you could fix the instant one, because if you are driving, you get it for a bit better as well because you use the drones if your ships are X1. So you could probably do the other one for the 141 for instant fix and then just drive the garrison one as best you possibly can and then fix overnight. So you could probably do it. It'd take you 3 days to do it if you were doing it that way.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do it in piecemeal bits at a time because in the day you'd spend forever just waiting then for an hour and a half and then do another one, then an hour and a half. Well, no one's going to sit around all day long, wait for hour and a half sessions to fix a fleet.
Yeah. It's part of the problem. That's part of what I don't like about it is, just the initial repair time is just feels too long. Because you never get good at this target because you're spending a lot of time repairing. So at least that's the way I look at it. I can see other views of it. And the question from the beginning of the show, the mains Gladius upgrade kit, 5,000. For 10 of them, you can claim up to 13, which would get it from U0 to X1. Down at the bottom, we have all the invader plates. You can claim one of each. They are limited. And I think the Intel Lab limit is 5 of each. So, you probably can't claim them if you have 5 of each.
Some went to higher than 5, though, didn't they? Some went to 10, I think. I think so. Hang on a minute. I think the explosive went higher than that, didn't it?
I don't know. Last I heard, they were all 5, but they might have changed them because
I thought they were up to 10. I don't know if
I think
it's
it's 10.
more than that.
Okay, it's 10. Okay.
I'm not sure they're all 10, but definitely I think some were up to 10 now. Because you can put on that sorts out 2 fleets, doesn't it? So.
Okay. And the sacred artifact is not in here because I'd be curious to see the price of the sacred artifact relative to the FTL engine. I'm assuming they would just keep it the same, even though it's it's older technology. They just don't. It seems like an easy thing to adjust the prices of things to make them more beneficial to be smart about what you're buying. And there's one more click on this one.
Yeah, so just the blueprint for the limited one for the concussive one, and it's basically I'm at 6 of 10. So yeah.
Okay.
So in beta plates, you definitely go 10.
I would have liked to have gotten this extra stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be locked out of this because I'll be struggling to get what I think I need.
Yeah, and throughout the show, we're not even agreeing on what you think we need.
I know.
I mean, it's not really like I think the Black missile and one FTL engine, and Derpy's more about the FTL engine, and
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
That was a pretty disinterested. I don't know.
I haven't figured out.
I'm not saying it.
Run into a situation
I'm not saying
where I
it's
have to
wrong.
decide which one to buy. Then I'll think about it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
This will be like the first time that I may end up saving all my points until the end of the Pillage. Normally I buy along the way. It helps me keep track of what I need, and
Yeah.
but I might just do the best I can and see what I get at the end.
Okay. But we get 7 claims on the Overlord carrier, which is the most recent Defender flagship. You need 14 shards in order to claim it and start to build it for the next month. So in the hierarchy mortar, that's the one that goes with it.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. If the repair times were not so long, I would, as Lady Cat's saying, I would think about this. Okay. Sacred artifact and okay, the limit is 2 for each FM, and they're 45K each. So, but I don't know. Have we provided
this one will probably the FTL engine will probably be in the FM for 90K each, limit of 2.
69.
Okay.
I have no idea, but yeah, it's as far as the path forward, it's you need to know so much as far as like the difficulty of the targets relatively, because the 138 I found to be quite surprising and disappointing is far as me trying to plan ahead, because I was expecting, 35 minutes of damage, 28 to 35 minutes of damage based on past history in the game. But they've upped it considerably. They've tripled what my expectations. So I don't know. I've been going for about an hour and a half. Is there anything else we should be talking about?
Pick your. I would just say for those that are struggling, is pick your targets wisely, because I think you could run out of time this week if you aren't careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as far as hitting the 141s, it appears that some grinders named Mike might be better off just hitting the 141s and ignoring the 138s to a large extent.
Well, at least until he's done the TLC and his FM, and then if you've got some time left over,
Well, Pillage and
Pillage is only 3 days.
yeah, and then Sunday. At least FM and the TLC, you've got a few days after Pillage.
I don't know about everybody else, but I have 10 of each armor, so I wasn't planning on getting any more during this FM.
Yeah, but you do bounty. PvE players don't do bounty and might not have the armor.
How does that
But
have
then
anything to do with the? I'm talking about the Forsaken Mission armor.
Oh, that armor.
Forsaken
Yeah.
Mission this week, so
Okay.
I can use my Everest a little bit more in the Pillage.
Right. That's true. I've got all the armor I need. I was going to get some extra in case I needed, instead of being even, in case I needed to be heavier on one type or the other.
Yeah, my thought is if we need to do that, it will still be an option
Afterwards.
next month.
True. Very true. That's a good idea. So if you're caught up in armor, that's one stress.
headache, one headache less.
Yep, it's one.
Oh yeah, all those 30,000s. Yeah, I've sort of ignored those at this point in time.
Oh yeah, the invader plates. Well, there's invader plates in the TLC as well, I think. Right?
Yeah. You can get a full set.
Yeah.
So that's a better place. I think it's a better place to spend your time. If you want to go back to slide 4.
Might I say, I just want the Arila Aquila rocket for 45,000, which is in the Pillage.
Yeah.
And that's twice as expensive. Twice as expensive as the actual weapon.
That's what I'm going for.
Alrighty, but yeah, if you're going to go for the armors, I think this is going to be the place to go, unless this target is much more difficult than I assume it would be. So I would, as opposed to 180,000 points, I would probably just get to the third level of this TLC, and you'll accomplish the same thing. But if you want 2 of them, you can spend your time doing that. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for showing up. We'll be back on Friday. Maybe either Kixeye or the player base will have found a better way to accomplish this pillage, because it feels a little bit dire right now for a lot of players as far as getting what they expected to get. As far as getting all the weapons and getting the engine and whatnot, because it looks like a lot of damage. And the player base is really good at figuring out how to do these things. And I'm still curious about what happens if I use, one small long pinch, as far as cutting that an hour and 20, an hour and 30 down to an hour, which is not great. And then I would hope that Kixeye on the other side would also reduce the damage or take out some of those thunderclaps in order to make it more achievable for a lot of the players. So I don't know. Anybody else have any parting words?
Pillage sucks.
Okay.
Auto to
Alrighty.
141,
Up the
Yeah.
lag.
and then do
Do
it
it
again.
100 times. It's much
And then do it
easier.
again.
Yeah.
Are you going to have fun doing that? No. But if you want to, you can.
Yeah. They just overstepped, and I feel like this is a mistake. I can't remember it's been a while since I've said that. As far as one of the targets just felt like, because I've been playing for a long time. This just feels like a mistake, and hopefully they realize it. But it just feels that way to me.
They've just lost their way. Just go back.
I'm not
and-
asking to do it for instant repair on auto, but
Yeah.
this damage we're taking right now, driving your ass off for 2 hours for an hour and a half, is too high.
Yeah.
Significantly too high.
I agree completely.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody. We'll see you on Friday. And Derpy's going to have this all figured out. We're all going to get done for instant repair on the map. Guaranteed, right, Derpy?
Uh-huh.
All right.
You heard it there first.
Yep. All right. We'll see y'all then. And thanks for showing up. And best of luck in Pillage.
You'll need it.